Hey, Hazemeg here, back in the garage. So I'm just gonna kind of go over a quick AAR for tonight. So what happened is we got there like super early, and it was pretty warm. Yeah, it was pretty warm the whole day. Like it didn't even get that cold at night, and the wind was like the first run. There was like no wind. I'd never seen that before. Like no wind. It was like dead calm, and then the second run, and we rode this bike. We rode the Empulse TT. The second run, we what was it? The wind picked up a little bit. There was a little headwind. So I ran a 14.1, and then I ran a 14.6 for the second run, and then I ran a 15.1 for the third run. The wind started to pick up just a little bit more on the third run. I was around like 90% state of charge. And then so after the third run is eliminations, and nobody wants to race Doug because Doug is really good. So I said I'm not afraid. I'm not afraid of to whoop whoop Doug's ass. so like here we go. I race a Doug, and I do. Oh yeah, you know what? I forgot to get my time slips. Anyway, I was gonna dial a 14.9, but I saw the wind like kind of dying down. I was like, man, we might go a little bit faster. We might still do 14s. so I did I dialed in 14.8. So I was gonna dial 14.9, and then I dialed in the 14.8 because I didn't want to break out. Okay, because if you break out, then you just you lose automatically, pretty much. Um, and then we go, and yeah, so I dialed in the 14.8, but I wanted to do 14.9, and then so we go, and then Hades Omega's off his dial by 2/10 of a second. Okay, so I ran a 15, like 15 flat, pretty much. So that's like 2/10 of a second, but I had a very good reaction time. I actually beat Doug on the tree, so 0.074. That's very rare. Doug was like point 1 or something, 0.10 or something. And Doug, I know Doug is really good. He can do like perfect launches and stuff. So he must have been off by a little bit. But hey, I hate his mega beat him at the tree this time. But I was off by 2/10, and he was off by 1/10 on his dial. Okay, point 1. So point 2, point 1, double the time. Like, hey, we're talking about tenths of a second, fractions of a second here. Okay, and I had a slightly better reaction time, so that puts Doug, uh, the winner, by point zero 0.08, like 0.887 seconds. Okay, so yeah, that's what happened. So I got eliminated in the first round by 0.088 seconds. Can you believe that? Really close race. I'm actually pretty happy with it. I'm really happy with how the Empulse did. So the reason I didn't take the light B out to race is because I broke something. So there's something broken on the drivetrain on this bike, and I haven't taken it all apart yet. So I haven't quite figured it out. But I narrowed it down to the jack shaft. So I think there's something wrong with the jack shaft on my bike. I never thought something like that could fail, but we'll find out when I take it out. So I would have raced this bike if it was running, okay, but unfortunately we had to race this one. So this one was in okay shape. It could use some newer tires, but it's still got some rubber on there, and it did great tonight. This is the first race of the year with this bike, so maybe we'll take it back in like 2 weeks. I think is when the next race is. So it did really good. It felt kind of funny racing it because I hadn't a drag race this bike in a long time. I was like, it feels kind of funny, like I feel on the light beat I can get really on top of it, keep it from doing a wheelie. But this bike won't wheelie. This bike won't wheelie unless you clutch it, because all the batteries are so heavy. The batteries are like in the front of the bike, so this bike will not wheelie. But I got a 14.6. There was no wind. I think that is like the fastest time I have ever run on this bike. And I got a 0.074 reaction time. I think that is the best reaction time I've ever got on this bike. This bike is notorious for having poor reaction times because it has an electronic throttle. Okay, it's the time it takes for you to twist this throttle and the rear wheel to move, it takes time, and it takes fractions of a second. And you think it doesn't take a lot of time, but in the drag racing world, fractions of a second count, okay? So my reaction time was good, and the bike's reaction time was good, and just 0.074. So I know we can do it. I know we can get good reaction times on this bike. I just have to do my part, and the bike has to do its part. I remember when I was staging, that was super deep staging. Okay, like there's like a shallow stage, right, and then then you're right in the middle. And then you go into the deep stage, and then the two lights go on, and I went, once the two lights go on, I go just a little bit farther. In fact, maybe next time I should experiment a little more. Maybe next time I should just break the lights. Like once they're deep stage, keep on going until it goes off, and then back off just a tiny bit till the light goes back on. So you're extra deep stage, okay? and maybe that'll help. Maybe that's how I was able to keep up with Doug, in the reaction time. So that's how I was able to beat him on the tree. So all I know is like the farther I stage in, the better my reaction times are with this bike. So that's cool. I can't wait to go race it again. It did great. It had plenty of power. I have to shift on this bike, so it's a little strange compared to the Light Bee. The Light Bee, I just kind of hold the throttle open and just keep on going, And this one, I have to actually do some homework. I have to do some work. I when this gets to about 6,500, I shift. Then I shift again, and I shift as fast as I can. This bike doesn't have a quick shifter or anything. I'm pretty sure you could totally incorporate something like a quick shifter on this bike. Everything's electric, so if they had continued to make this bike and improve it, a quick shifter would have been one of the good things about this bike. Would be a good thing to have on this bike, a quick up and down shift. So you wouldn't even need a clutch at all, yeah. So I feel like we're kind of losing some time shifting. But as long as we're nailing the times, it's pretty good. But I feel it's not as consistent as that bike. Okay, the Light Bee. We're what is it? I ran a 14.6, 14.9, a 15.1, and a 15. So yeah, and like I said, the weather was kind of funky tonight. It would be like no wind, a slight headwind, maybe a slightly stronger headwind, but the wind was so calm tonight, and that was kind of throwing everybody off. Where everyone was getting faster and faster, So unfortunately, this one doesn't really get faster throughout the night. It actually gets slower throughout the night. That's the problem with the electric bikes. Your state of charge goes down, and your voltage goes down. That means you got less power. So your bike is going to get slower, while everybody's bikes get faster, because their bikes run off of oxygen, right? So the oxygen gets cooler. The oxygen's more dense. The air is more dense with oxygen, so they make more power. This bike doesn't do that. so it's a different kind of game with this bike. But I had a lot of fun. This bike did great. The way I launch it is very similar to the way I launch the Light Bee now. I'll come up, I'll stage. Once I'm staged, I'll hit the brake, and then I'll give it just a little bit of power to when it's starting to move a little bit. I can feel it to move. It takes up all that slack in the gearbox, and then once I see the yellow light go, boom! I let go of the brake and twist that throttle and hold on. Yeah, I don't think I'd had no wheelies. This bike does not do wheelies. I'm sure probably if I pulled up on the bars and I really get on it, yeah, I'd probably do a wheelie. But yeah, you don't want to do a wheelie when you're drag racing. The power goes up instead of out, right? So if you're doing a wheelie, you're not getting the power to the ground the right way. Okay. All right. Yeah. So yeah, eliminated in the first round. I hate it, but one of these days I'm gonna get Doug, man. One of these days I'm gonna get you, Doug. One of these days. But it wasn't tonight, so it wasn't my lucky night. Yeah. I want to legit beat him. I came close tonight. I came so close, but Doug is just a little bit better than me tonight. So, but that's cool. I had a great race that last one, and I got my fastest time on the Impulse and my best reaction time on the Impulse. So I'm very happy with today's results. So, all right. Thanks for watching. That is the AAR for October 21st, Wednesday Night Drags, and we race it with the Victory, the 139 Impulse TT, the Ichi San Q. All right.